Welcome, wanderer. You've stepped across the threshold into abyss of horror, where we speak only in hushed tones, so as not to awaken what slumbers beneath the skin of this world. Tonight, we speak of a town that tried to see too much and forgot how to close its eyes. The story you're about to hear is not a legend. It is a fracture. A split in the world where something ancient leaks through. This is the tale of Drowsen Vale, and the entity who never stopped watching. Drowsen Vale was once unremarkable, tucked between clawing trees and forgotten rails. It was the kind of place you passed through without remembering. Just over 800 residents, a general store, a chapel, a silence that hung a bit too thick. But then came the forgetting. It began with a teacher named Marion Elmore. One Monday morning, she blinked while reading aloud and forgot where she was in the book. Not uncommon. But then she blinked again and forgot which grade she taught. Within days, others followed. A waitress at the diner served food to customers no longer sitting there. The mechanic worked on a car that had already been repaired. A boy sat silently in the park for 6 hours, his eyes wide, unblinking, lips moving without sound. Doctors were called. Psychiatrists consulted. But the diagnosis eluded everyone. What they didn't understand, what no one could grasp, was that it wasn't their minds slipping. It was their eyes. Residents began reporting intense dryness, itching, a sensation of being watched that wouldn't go away, even in locked rooms. When they tried to blink, it felt wrong. Like closing their eyes meant abandoning something. Soon, mirrors became unbearable. Reflections didn't follow correctly. Sometimes they stared back a fraction too long. It wasn't the townspeople they feared seeing. It was the thing behind the eyes. In the center of town, an old stone well long since dried out began leaking black water. Then came the cult. They called themselves the Ocular Order. They wore white cloth over their heads, each marked with a single crimson eye. Their leader, a man known only as Father Prism, spoke from a pulpit built on the roof of the old post office. "She blinks for us," he would say. "She keeps the world turning. We must not sleep. We must not look away, or she will close her eyes, and we will vanish from her gaze." At first, they were a curiosity, a town coping through desperation. But as more people joined, teachers, police officers, the mayor, their sermons turned to rituals. Every night at 3:13 a.m., the townspeople gathered. They stood in total silence, facing east, holding their eyelids open with cold metal hooks provided by the order. Candles burned until the first bird called. No one spoke of what they saw in the darkness, only that when they blinked, she blinked back. And when she blinked, something in the world went missing. First, it was memories. Birthdays, names, faces. Then, it was people. If you're still watching, type unseen in the comments. We must know who has not blinked. A family of 5 disappeared on the 5th Thursday after the rituals began. Their house remained pristine, meals still warm. But the mirrors were shattered. Everyone. And each shard etched with the phrase, "I saw her." The town's children started drawing her. A woman, tall and eyeless, with rivers of black tears streaming down where her gaze should be. Always drawn with hands held out. Not to welcome, but to cover someone else's eyes. Reports emerged of sleepwalkers. People found standing outside the well, motionless, eyes open, lips moving in a whisper. What they whispered changed with each encounter. She's close. She's blinking too fast. She blinked twice. That means death. Then came the harvest night. It was the Order's final ceremony. Every mirror in town was melted down to form a single great lens, 12 feet tall, mounted above the well. Beneath it, an altar of bone and salt. Father Prism proclaimed, "The world has blinked too long. She tires. We must see for her. We must hold the world open." Each cult member removed their eyes, one by one, without flinching. The screams were not theirs. They came from somewhere beneath the town. The lens was turned toward the full moon. The reflection showed not light, but darkness. And within that blackened circle, her face, not metaphor, not madness, a real thing looking back. And then the town blinked. The earthquake was minor, the damage minimal. But in the morning, every home was empty. No signs of struggle, no signs of life, except for one. Marion Elmore, the teacher, was found wandering the outskirts of Drowsin Vale. Her face wet with tears, she could no longer explain. Her eyes had sealed shut, skin grown over them as if they'd never been there. She was blind, but claimed she still saw everything. She needed a rest, she whispered. Now we watch for her. She was institutionalized, her ramblings dismissed as trauma. But her room is always cold, and every nurse assigned to her forgets how to blink. Today, Drowsin Vale is a name scrubbed from maps. The forest has reclaimed the roads. But if you travel just past the 14th mile marker on Route 217, there's a path no GPS shows. They say if you find the stone well and stare into it long enough, your reflection won't move when you do. They say it waits there. They say she does. And if you listen closely, you'll hear her whisper, "Don't look away. Tell me, when did you last blink? Are you sure? Comment awake if you still see the screen." And before you go, ask yourself, what happens when she finally closes her eyes for good and never opens them again? Until next time, keep watching. We'll be watching too. Welcome to the abyss of horror.